Hello, I'm Joy Matthews, an investigator here at the Montgomery County Office of Consumer Protection. I'm also your host for this edition of Consumer Compass. The Office of Consumer Protection, or OCP, is responsible for enforcing consumer protection laws, licensing certain businesses, administering several programs, and engaging in education and outreach. In today's show, we'll learn about your rights as part of the Homeowners Association.
If you're considering buying a new home in a common ownership community, the most important document you should see is the public offering statement.
Some door-to-door scams to look out for.
Resurfacing of driveways. What happens is you'll have a scammer come to the resident and explain that they had some extra sealant that was left over from the neighbors or a neighboring job.
How to solve a cable television complaint.
One thing people might not know is that if your cable service is out for more than 24 hours, you're entitled to a credit.
And the Consumer Federation of America.
There's personal information that's collected about you and used in ways that you would never dream of.
I'll also introduce you to our Spanish-speaking investigators here in the office. So let's get started. Did you know that approximately 1/3 of Montgomery County residents live in co-ops, condominiums, townhouses, or single-family homes that are part of a community homeowners association? To educate them, our office recently developed a series of instructional videos through the Commission on Common Ownership Communities. They'll be available online soon. In the meantime, here's a sneak peek.
Thinking of buying a home? Most new homes are part of homeowner associations, and new multi-unit buildings are usually condominium associations. Older communities can be homeowner or condominium associations, or even cooperative housing associations. In Maryland, we call these common ownership communities. The first thing to know about common ownership communities is that they are democracies governed by their members. Second, by agreeing to buy a home in a common ownership community, you agree to comply with all the association's rules and regulations. If you're considering buying a new home in a common ownership community, the most important document you should see is the public offering statement. The seller of the home, the builder or developer, must give this to you. It contains essential information about the community, such as what property the association owns, what fees the association expects to charge, and what rules and regulations the association has in place. If you don't get the statement before you sign the contract, you may have the right to cancel the contract for a limited period of time after you get the statement. If you're thinking of buying an older home in a common ownership community, the seller, usually the owner of the home or unit, must give you the resale package. This package should include the association's budget, the annual assessments, any special assessments that have been approved, and the identification of any known significant defects in the common areas of the association that will need repairs in the future. The seller should also state whether his own home or unit has any defects in it. The package should include a copy of the association's rules and regulations. If the seller does not offer the package, demand it. If you don't get the package before you sign, you may have a limited right to cancel the contract after you get the package. You will want to familiarize yourself with the association's rules and regulations. Associations can regulate whether you can rent out your home or unit, what kind of vehicle you can park on the property, what pets you can have and how many, whether you can use your home as a business or daycare center, whether and where you can smoke, whether and how you can make changes to your house or unit. You will also want to know what kinds of amenities your association offers, such as pools, playgrounds, parking, and storage space. In addition, a condominium should meet the lending requirements of the Federal Housing Administration. If the association is not certified by the FHA and other federal lending agencies will not issue loans to buyers of units in that condominium. For more information, read our brochure, What You Should Know About Buying a Home in a Condominium, Cooperative, or Homeowners Association, available on the CCOC website.
That was one of 15 videos. If you want to watch the entire series, check the CCOC website. The videos are an excellent resource for anybody who belongs to a homeowners association and/or attends meetings, but also who serves on the board or is considering serving. Whether part of an HOA or not, homeowners may face the inevitable door-to-door scam. Here's Investigator Bob Durant to give us some tips.
During the storm seasons and during the summer and spring months, we often will see door-to-door scammers that are wood experts, so they say. We refer to them as woodchucks, and the reason is they are unlicensed, unskilled individuals with chainsaws. Their intention is not to actually do the work that they have described, but to find more work on the property. For example, they will say that they're going to trim some limbs that have fallen, perhaps even cut down a tree, but while they're doing this work, they're going to purposely find other home improvements that are necessary around your house. They're going to look for fallen gutters, they're going to look for siding that might be falling, tabs of roofing that are missing, maybe even cracks in your cement that they have no experience in repairing. They do not have licenses for home improvements, so they should not be engaging in this activity, and they do not have tree licenses, expert tree licenses, which are issued by the Department of Natural Resources. As far as the work that they're doing with the trees themselves, it's very vague, very ambiguous as to what they're actually doing. For example, they will use terminology, "I'll clean up a few of your trees." What does that mean? Many homeowners might think that it means cleaning up 5 or 6 branches. What they'll actually do is cut one branch down and leave it in your yard. They'll tell you they'll cut a tree down in the backyard, and instead of cutting it flush to the stump, they'll cut it 6 feet high and leave the tree there without chopping it up or hauling it away. So there needs to be some specificity in that contract, and especially a written contract with anybody coming to your home looking to do tree work, and they must be licensed. Another scam that we see at the Office of Consumer Protection door to door is the resurfacing of driveways. We see this primarily in the spring and the summer times. What happens is you'll have a scammer come to the resident and explain that they had some extra sealant that was left over from the neighbors or a neighboring job, and they can give them a great deal. And in fact, what they have is a watered down product that they spray on the driveway, which will only last several weeks. But by that time, the scam artist is gone. What they should be doing is putting down an oil-based sealant and roll that down or brush that down onto the driveway so it has a long-lasting effect.
We'll be looking at other scams in future shows. In the meantime, if you think you've been scammed, please call us at 240-777-3636. So part of solving these types of complaints involve partnering with other consumer agencies, whether they are local, state, or national. One is the Consumer Federation of America in Washington, D.C. OCP Director Eric Friedman took a field trip to learn more about this agency and how it helps our consumers.
Where are we going?
We're ready to go. It is hot. We're hitting DC. And we're off. We're going to visit the Consumer Federation of America and speak with the Director of Consumer Protection, Susan Grant. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young because we're old. We can't be lost because, you know, we're Consumer Compass. Here, down the spot right on the street. Well, we made it downtown, and I'm just going to jump into the men's room, put a tie and jacket on, try and look a little bit professional. Okay, ready to meet Susan Grant. Well, Susan, this is very exciting. Your office, just a few blocks from the White House. Can you tell us a little bit about CFA's mission?
Consumer Federation of America is an association of consumer organizations around the U.S. So we have big organizations that are household names like AARP and Consumers Union, and then we have small organizations like the Harlem Consumers Council, which consists of one person working out of a Starbucks. We also have state and local consumer agency members like the Montgomery County Office of Consumer Affairs.
Right, we're a member, and we remember to pay our dues this year.
Thank you.
I know CFA puts on annual conferences. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
We do. We have an annual conference, which is called Consumer Assembly in the spring, and that's just a who's who of the consumer world with all of the people from local, state, and federal government agencies, businesses and trade associations, consumer advocacy organizations. It's a wonderful conference. And we also have special conferences on food and on financial services.
I know Consumer Federation of America produces public service announcements. Can you tell me about some of them?
We do. I've been doing a series of little videos, 2 minutes or less, on different fraud-related subjects. They're really fun. They're on our website, and people can link to them at consumerfed.org/fraud. And we're also providing them to cable stations like this one and to other people who want to use them for consumer education. The thing I like about the videos is that they're educational, but they're funny. So we're trying to impart serious information with humor.
One day, while shuffling through bills, John discovers something wonderful. A check for $3,000. I just won the International Lottery. I don't remember entering the International Lottery. He calls the lottery agent to verify the news. Hello? Hello? The lottery agent confirms John's good fortune. She tells John the process to claim his winnings is easy. International law requires a portion of the check to be wired back to the office immediately to pay the taxes on your winnings. After that, the rest of the prize money will be released to you. John deposits the check and then wires the money to the agent. John is happy. Too bad the lottery check wasn't real. Unfortunately, the money John wired was real. You work hard for your money. Don't let a few minutes with a scammer separate you from what's taken days, weeks, or even a lifetime to earn. Consumer Federation of America reminds you, you can't win a lottery that you've never entered. Winners pay taxes directly to the government. And remember, there is no legitimate reason why anyone who sends you money would ask you to send money anywhere in return. If that's the deal, it's a scam. You can protect yourself from fraud. Learn how at consumerfed.org/fake-check-scams.
What do you think about these issues of privacy and electronic commerce? The whole concept of privacy has changed in our lifetime.
That's right. It's a big challenge. And I didn't initially work on privacy when I began in the consumer protection field, but I kind of got into it because everything else that I was working on in some way or another crossed with privacy. All the different kinds of transactions that you do these days, there's personal information that's collected about you and used in ways that you would never dream of, shared with people that you don't know. And of course, nowadays, another concern is the access to that information by the government.
Susan, with all these new electronic forms of payment, how much harder do you think it is to be a smart consumer today?
I think it's really bewildering. When you think about all the different ways that you can pay, what consumers don't realize is that their rights, if something goes wrong, are not necessarily the same with those different forms of payment. So for instance, when you pay with a debit card, your rights are different if you never get what you paid for than if you pay with a credit card. If you pay with some other new form of payment, maybe on your phone, where it gets billed to your wireless carrier, you don't have any dispute rights at all if something goes wrong with the transaction. So it's really confusing for me to keep on top of, and I can't imagine how consumers are dealing with it. It's through organizations like yours where you go out and actually talk to consumers all the time, where you can try to give them the information about how to navigate this increasingly complex marketplace.
Well, you've been doing consumer protection for a long time now. Is it still passionate for you?
Yes, because, and I know you know this too, you've been in this business for a long time as well, there's always something new, and there's always some outrage that keeps you going. Right. It's also a challenge to try to figure out how to do things better, how to do consumer education better, for instance, and how to use new technology to do that.
Now, CFA does lobbying and advocacy on Capitol Hill. What are the current topics that you're working on?
Well, at this point, it's a matter of trying to keep the consumer protections that we recently achieved in things like financial services, product safety, food safety. There are efforts to roll those protections back. So it's discouraging when you'd actually like to make more progress on consumer protection to be spending a lot of your time just trying to hold on to what you've got.
So I guess it was rewarding to have the federal government create a new consumer protection agency just recently.
Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We are fortunate that that was created, and that's another example of trying to preserve something. It's under constant attack from misinformed legislators, unfortunately, who think that somehow it's bad for business. It's actually really good for business. As we saw in the financial crisis, if you have a situation where you have inadequate regulation and oversight, you can have businesses just get into a world of trouble, and that impacts on all of us.
Well, Susan, we're very fortunate to have CFA right in our backyard. I hope we can come by again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
To find out more about the Consumer Federation of America and its work, please go to www.consumerfed.org. Another department that our office works with is the Montgomery County Office of Cable and Broadband Services. This is who to call when you're frustrated with the local cable companies. Let's find out more.
Well, my name is Keith Watkins. I work for the Office of Cable and Broadband Services, and I specifically handle all of the complaints that involve the 3 franchised cable TV providers. On average, we handle somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100 to 120 complaints a month. So it runs between 1,500 to 1,800 a year. Typically, the complaints that we receive are billing complaints. The subscriber has a billing issue, whether it's with a promotional offering or a bill that didn't get posted. A lot of times we do handle issues involving cable wiring, downed cable wiring, low-hanging cable wire, above ground cable wire that needs to be buried, trip hazards, things like that.
My name is Brian Forney. I'm an inspector for the Cable Office of Montgomery County. The three providers of cable TV in Montgomery County use different architectures. All the providers use fiber optic cable, but also some of the providers use coaxial cable to get the signal to your home. Now these cables then leave the cable head end and go out to the plant. They either use electric poles or go underground or a combination thereof to get to your home.
My name is Otis Matthews. I work for Montgomery County Cable Office. What my responsibilities are is an inspector, and we go out and we inspect the different cable companies, their work crews and things that come out. They do aerial work, underground work. If it's underground, we make sure that things are being done properly, that things are being buried properly. If it's a lane block off, it's done right, so it doesn't really upset traffic that much. There's a certain time they can be on, certain times that they have to be off of the road, and we're here for basically your public safety.
One thing people might not know is that if your cable service is out for more than 24 hours, you're entitled to a credit on your next month's bill. Each subscriber, whether they're on auto pay or it comes directly out of their debit account, they should check their bill every month, either online or their paper bill, for discrepancies or increases. If they upgrade their services, there's always going to be a prorated amount, which will also prorate the franchise fees and taxes as well. So that's something that someone needs to be, of which someone needs to be aware. If they accept a free promotional offer for a premium channel for a specific amount of time, the cable company doesn't automatically shut those premium channels off after that period of time has expired. If you don't call them, they'll consider that you want those channels, and they'll just continue to provide you those channels at the current rate. One thing that I always tell everyone, whenever you return equipment to any of the providers, whether you mail it in, deliver it to them, or someone picks it up, make certain that you get a receipt. If you mail it in, get a tracking number, go online and print out a proof of delivery for that equipment. If you do have any difficulties and you cannot resolve it with the cable operator, please contact our office.
The Office of Cable and Broadband Services can be reached by calling 311 or go to its website at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/cable. Before we end the show today, I wanted to introduce you to some other staff. Here at the Office of Consumer Protection, we have 10 investigators. 3 of them speak Spanish and are here to help this growing population.
I'm Investigator Vega. I'm in charge of filing criminal charges against unlicensed contractors. Yo soy investigador Vega. Yo estoy encargado en haciendo cargos criminales contra contratistas sin licencias.
Hello, my name is Lorena Bailey, and I'm an investigator with the Office of Consumer Protection. One of the important programs that I help with is the Domestic Workers Program, which helps people in the employment area. I also coordinate volunteers for our office. Hola, soy Lorena Bailey y soy una investigadora con la Oficina de Protección al Consumidor. Uno de los programas más importantes de nuestra oficina es de trabajadoras domésticas y nosotros le ayudamos a gente con ese tipo de empleo. Otro programa con que yo ayudo es el programa de voluntarios para nuestra oficina y estamos buscando voluntarios bilingües para que nos pueda ayudar con la comunidad hispana.
My name is Joe Rosado. I'm an investigator for the Office of Consumer Protection. My main specialty is debt collections and credit fraud, but I can assist you in any other subject that you have a problem with.
If you have any questions, please give me a call.
Mi nombre es Joe Rosado, soy investigador de la Oficina de Protección al Consumidor y mi especialidad en este caso soy Hago especialidad en cobros, comunicaciones, pero también tengo la especialidad de todo aquí, así que puedo ayudarle en cualquier cosa que usted tenga, cualquier problema que usted tenga.
Muchas gracias y espero su pronta respuesta.
In addition to Spanish, our office can serve people who speak other languages, including French, Mandarin, and Farsi. So that's it for this episode of Consumer Compass. Please visit us on our webpage for more information about consumer issues here in Montgomery County. We also host Facebook and Twitter accounts. Or you can call or come in anytime. Our hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and the office is located at 100 Maryland Avenue in Rockville. I'm Joy Matthews. Thanks for watching.